Hello and welcome to Satisfactory. Now, in our previous episode we were dealing with aluminium production and how to get the raw materials to produce the end products, including the byproducts. And in this episode we're going to start heading towards nuclear power. So in the meantime, I have been a little bit busy with the base, and it has grown from what we had previously. And you can now see here we have a very large central factory, which we didn't have previously. And for anybody who hasn't seen the previous episodes, I would recommend go back and have a quick flick through them if you want to come up to date with what's been going on here. And so what we have is a computer production plant inside this one. And we are also feeding into a single supercomputer production line as well inside here. Now this one it's actually doing quite a nice production line for us. It has pulled a significant amount of resources away. And in the first episodes, when I was setting up the copper refinery, just over here behind that building, I was talking about how I wasn't sure how many copper sheets I was going to require, and that would probably come later in the game. And sure enough, that's exactly what's happened. The supercomputer requires a significant amount of parts from the computer manufacturer. And the computer manufacturer requires an enormous amount of copper sheeting. And if I come into here, we have, I think it's this one here. Of course it's not, it's over here. It's the production of the circuit board. Here we go. And that's feeding into this facility here for the initial start of the computer. So we're producing 37.5 of these circuit boards. Those are coming out of the ceiling here and into storage and then being fed. That's quite a lot of circuit boards, and that requires 15 copper sheets per minute. And you can see we have quite a few factories running in here that require those copper sheets, as well as some other industries as well that are feeding some of the copper sheets. So we've managed to get those up to numbers, and how we did that was not from expanding on this particular factory here to complete the outstanding amount, although it did help to support some of it, but we've actually set up a drone, and this drone is flying over to a unpure refinery over there somewhere in the distance. In fact, I think it's just over there near the sand dunes and stuff. And that is producing the very much the requirement that we need to make up the difference. It's probably sitting there right now because we have so many coming in. And I would think probably we're full, so this is great. It means we're not stretching. We also, of course, because of the fact that we can't produce batteries over there for the drones, we've had to connect another drone factory up to our headquarter area, and this is going to be distributing batteries to any drone factory that we may put up, or any drone facility that we may put up to bring in other resources, so that they at least have the power to be able to fly backwards and forwards. So that was a pretty big setup. And this is one that's going off to the aluminium refinery over there, where it was producing the batteries alongside. And it's doing a pretty good job. I think there's 2 drones actually on that one, going backwards and forwards. So we should have another one heading our way fairly soon. And then if we go in here, you can see we are absolutely full of batteries, which is excellent. And so the supercomputer is an important part of creating some of the Phase 4 items, as well as some of the buildings and stuff we're going to have to put down now. And you can see I've changed things a little bit with a little bit of decoration here, trying to give the factory a cool look. But I'm holding off on too much of the beautification at this stage in the game. That's usually something I'll end my playthrough with. When I've created a bunch of stuff that's coming through and we have a nice steady supply, then I can start focusing on trying to make things look nicer. So this is still very much mid-game, functional, and just basically doing what it needs to do. And so in the meantime, we're going to head over here quickly. We're going to unlock the nuclear power. And as you can see, we require the supercomputers to be able to do the nuclear power, so most likely we will require some of these to be available for when we're creating the nuclear plants.
Milestone reached. The nuclear power plant produces dangerous radioactive nuclear waste. FICSIT reminds you that any extra limbs resulting from exposure to radiation are also contracted to work on project assembly. FICSIT also reminds you that willful exposure to radiation will not result in any bonuses regardless of how many functional limbs it produces. Project part number 7, the magnetic field generator, should enter production as soon as possible. Any unnecessary delays will be noted.
Well, this is great. So we're now going to have to start focusing on getting some more power in, because the fuel, I've managed to boost it up a fair bit, and we do have some more oil that we can grab and create more fuel from, but it's starting to strain a little bit. And I think we're running on quite a... Let's have a look and see here from the power cable. And so you can see here the maximum connections that we can have are actually underproducing here. So if everything was to turn on all at once, the whole system would break down. So that's something I think I'm going to be looking to try and get up and running, and I know it's a bit of a handful, so it may take a while to do that. But in the meantime, you can see here we've got a much larger factory up and running. Everything is starting to come in. The more advanced items are starting to come in better quantities now. The computers themselves as well, which were from the previous level and would take quite a lot of time to produce. We now have a decent amount of computers being produced at once as well. In fact, I think I have a storage container here. Yeah. And you can see we have a very healthy amount of computers that are being made, and these are also being sent off to the supercomputer center as well. So to have this much surplus is very good. And so there is that. That's the stage that we're at so far. Now the nuclear part of the process might be something that I am going to try to do during this episode, but I have a feeling that it's going to be something that will take a little bit longer to do. So in the meantime, we will continue on just trying to meet the demands for some of the Phase 4 stuff, and also trying to produce some of the more advanced aluminium items that we now have access to from the previous upgrade. And we will see where it leads. So if we come back here to the Caterium refinery, we're now running at fully optimized speed, and this is taking the Caterium over to a truck stop just over there to prevent a bunch of belts and stuff going over, and that's dropping it off, and that's creating the supercomputers. So we're getting some pretty good numbers of Caterium coming through, but it's also running at peak capacity there, which is why it's being emptied so easily. And we should be able to find some more of this scattered around, but that is running at the fastest capacity that it can at the moment. And hopefully we're going to get the Mark III miner at some point soon, and then we can start upgrading and getting this stuff up even faster, because at the moment it's a little bit slow, especially with the lower quality deposits that we have here. Now another thing I'm doing as well is that I'm placing up radars, as you can see on the minimap there, or the compass at the top of the screen there. And how I'm doing that is I'm heading over and I'm using power pylons to be able to zipline my way across as far as possible. And then I use the hover pack to allow me to craft while I'm in the newer areas. And the idea is to cover as much ground as possible so that we have a good idea of exactly the kind of materials that we've got going on. Let's see, we have another Mercer sphere over here. That would be good to collect. I shall come back to that though, because that's quite hostile. There's a lot of very nasty things. And I think this is the end of the line here. Yeah, so basically what I'm doing, I'm creating a line to the next destination as best as possible. So we want our radar now to start going in this direction. And then I just place this as far as it'll let me do it. There you go, see the wire is too long if I go that far, so if I come back to about here and then drop that. Now I can't just keep going with the hover pack because I will run out of power about halfway through there, and that'll end up with me dropping down to somewhere I definitely don't want to be. Oh, I have more Mercer spheres over here as well, this is great. So what I do, I come out of the build menu and then I just link up with the cables here and head over to the next one, and I repeat the process until I get to my destination. Nice and easy. I'm telling you, the zip wire is a fantastic way to get around the map. Alright, so we're on the edge of the desert here. There's quite a lot of resources out there. And this is one of the start areas. I think a intermediate, sort of advanced, maybe even hard start area. But I think what I'm going to do is, this particular location, I'm going to put a radar up. I want to try to create as many radar scans as I can. You can see I have one here. And then we have another one just here with that coverage. And so I think by putting another one just here, we should get a nice opening here. And then I'm going to also try and come down into this area and repeat the process. We have one here, and we have another one here. And we will do the same further down here as well. We'll keep doing that so that we get a nice coverage. And then that way it's far easier when you're trying to plan an industry and you know you're going to need, for example, sulfur and maybe coal and some nitrogen to be able to create some of the late game stuff. You can sort of plan where you might want to build and then bring items in, because there are some areas that contain none of the resources that you need as well, which can make things really complicated. Like here, for example, there's a lot of oil, but pretty much nothing else. So you certainly wouldn't want to be building any kind of industry in that area. You'd probably take most of that by train or something like that and try to supply it into another area. I shall pop one down here. And we just need to power that up once it's placed. We have some resources underneath us here as well. And I think for now, I can always adjust it slightly later on if I wish. So I'll pop that there. And then we need to get some power to that as well. Hopefully we can reach. Yes, we can. Okay, so now when we go to the map. Awesome. Then you can really see masses of resources. There's a lot of iron here. Huge amounts of iron here. And we also have some copper. This is really nice. Some of these tighter areas with the copper could be very, very useful for us. Alright, so I've found a nitrogen gas vent here. I'm going to have to deal with local wildlife, I think, first. Where is it? Anyway, okay, not much of a threat. I think our base is, yes, it's just over there, so we shouldn't have too much difficulty getting the nitrogen to an industry of some sort that can then take over to the main base, depending on how we're going to do this. I've also considered I may actually designate an area of land out in the desert here, because it's much flatter ground and it might be easier to do a sort of hub area to take a bunch of materials. But the nitrogen gas works with this machine here. And then, so we start off with a well pressurizer, and then we have a well extractor, and these snap to the little nodes that come off. But before they'll do that, you have to power up. So we will wire this one in. Hopefully it's not going to cause too much of a problem with power for us. Yeah, we're getting close now. We're going to have to start doing something about this. And from there we can... Where are we? Nodes. There we go. And so we have several. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, there's not that many on this one. Oh, there's another one down here as well. It's excellent. I wonder if there's one under there. Probably not. Then we just connect these up via pipelines. So if I go, I guess, that one to that one. The reason I'm going to do this is so that we can branch off from each pipe. And then if I go to the Mark II, connect those up. Make sure there isn't one hidden back here. Never know. No, we're good. Okay, so we have one there. Actually, I wonder if it might be worth... Yeah, we can connect this one to this one. And then this one to this one. So I'll take these off again. So yeah, the reason behind this is we can then connect these. I'm not sure if it has the same issues with pumping as with liquids, but it can be stored. So if we place down, let's see here, we'll just start with some simple foundation snap points. And I think probably down here somewhere is going to be best to begin with, because then we can sort of focus on that area there for transport maybe, or I don't know how I'm going to do this just yet, but for now we're going to, I don't know, that's fairly uneven. I'm going to store this in containers, I guess downhill a little bit, maybe over here. Yeah, let's try that to begin with anyway. So I see where our hostile alien was. Okay, we should be good now. So let's get some where are we? Organization, here we go. Some fluid buffers here. Probably going to want some more power over here as well, actually, so I don't fall out of the sky. Let's drag that down. So we're going to want to run pipe down here, and then I guess around here. And they can join up where they can, but I don't want to restrict the flow too much. Our pipeline Mark II here has a 600 meters cubed of fluid per minute, and I have a feeling this is going to be pumping out a little bit more than that. 120 per minute. So yeah, we're going to be around 700 on here. So I'm going to put a couple of these down, and then we can join these up later. There we go. Now, I'm not sure if this will make a big difference, but I shall initially put a pipeline between these two. And we'll merge those so we can balance the flow from both of these other locations. And then we can run these pipes. So we'll start with this one here. You know what? Let's get another power. Okay, so we'll start with this one here. Come around. Right, I've just realised I've done one slight mistake here. I'm going to want to put some of these first. Oops. That's better. Okay. So yeah, apparently that's a lot better because now we can come down on this location up here. And we'll come into here, I guess. And then this one come into here. And then this one go into there. It's a bit messy, but it's only to collect some gases for the meantime until we can get some industry up. But at least for now, we should have... Here we go, starting to build up. 560 per minute. And then 590 on this one. That's pretty good. Okay. And this is going to be, I believe... I haven't figured it all out yet, but I believe this is needed in part of the constructions for some of the advanced aluminium items. And so we're going to have to try and find some bauxite around here as well, if possible. Let's have a look and hope. I haven't done the radar over the entire area here yet. I've got one here. We need one round here somewhere, ideally. No, okay, so look, I mean, it's there. There's a cluster of it. So it's not that hard of a journey. It will really just depend on what the terrain is like. But that's something we're going to have to look in later. But for now, at least, I thought I'd just show you. This is a new resource type that we've got here. And might as well start gathering some more of it while we're here. And also, there was another one at the top of the map I've already done as well. And again, it's just collecting it into some containers. And then when the time is right, I can come over and start doing the production. We'll have a nice big storage of the stuff. I know I've mentioned it before, but when it comes to the FICSIT sink or the awesome sink, there was a second resource that you can put in, which is the DNA points. I mentioned that you could do it, but I now have a few. And I'm going to show you now. I've actually done quite a lot of these, and so I don't get such a good return on them. But even with this amount that I've collected from exploring, I'll show you the amount that it'll give me in coupons, and it's pretty significant usually. Here we go, 3. And so this is actually quite late game, you know, I'm getting this. When I first did it, with about, I guess, 30 of them, I had probably got about 15 coupons initially. There you go, 9 coupons from that. And that was just from exploring around the area and taking stuff out that I had to take out in order to find various resources and stuff. So it's taken a good many hours, but I've worked my way around the map, and I've placed radar stations, radar towers, in strategic locations around the entire map now. So we can see pretty much every area. There's a little bit to do up here still in this area. This is the desert area, which I will get around to. And our main base, I believe, is somewhere around here, I think. Yeah. And we, at the moment, are sitting down here, so I have to make my way back. I've decided that before getting into any heavy manufacturing on the advanced aluminium side of things, we obviously need to upgrade our power And I've looked into the nuclear power, and it's very complicated. It requires a lot of transportation, and it will be very good end game to have a very solid, very high end of power. But I decided instead that I would check on the map, and I would have a look and see what geysers there were around on the map. And here we have the claimed geysers that I've been doing so far, and then we have a few remaining here left that I'm on my way to collect. And the end result of that is that we've gone from, I think we were roughly around here the last time we checked the power system, and if everything was switched on all at once, it was going to very much cut out. But you can see here now our maximum connections is down here, and so far the geysers have taken us up here. So we have, yeah, 10,000 megawatts. What's that, a gigawatt? So I'm going to carry on looking around the map, trying to get these last few geysers that we have unclaimed here. So over here and up here. And then, yeah, we should be really well set for producing some very large-scale factories, and maybe get some trains up and running as well, so that we can start transporting some of the goods to some of the other locations. And here we are at another one. So pop one down quickly. So fast and easy, this is awesome. And this is where I've been spamming all of these various towers everywhere now for transportation. It's so easy just to connect up to the power grid as well. And so now we should have... Yeah, now we've broken the 10. This is excellent. And I still have... Zoom out. And we still have a couple left up there as well. In fact, I think we might have some lower down too. Yep, we've got another 4 of them. Kind of a nice area, this as well. This is one area where it's possible I might start building a big mega factory because of the elevation. It's fairly flat, should allow me to have a lot of foundation areas and possibly get some train stations and stuff in here that I can start transporting. The only downside to it is that it's quite far over in the left-hand corner where we're sort of viewing over here at the moment. And although it's got some nice stuff there, it's missing quite a few things as well, which would mean that anything that we have down here that we want to transport is going to have to come all the way up here. So I'm still chewing on that one, not entirely sure. As I'm using these pylons to work my way around, I am trying to make them look a little bit nice in the environment. There are some areas where I'll come back to and clean it up, but where I'm going to go start building, like here where there's iron, then I'll try and put a foundation down and, you know, keep things looking a little bit more realistic, like they've got real foundations. There's a few of them that are looking like they're hanging off the edge of a cliff, which isn't very realistic looking, but it's a bit of a drag when you've got a lot to do. Like here, you can see it's floating up above the ground slightly. But I will get round to doing those. In fact, I'll show you quickly how I'm doing it. So I just basically snap to the terrain like that. And in this particular circumstance, I would probably go there. Delete that. I'm going to get rid of this thing here because this is going to be a problem for me. These are the honing bullets that you can unlock in the research tree. Very useful. Pretty expensive to make though. Anyway, so we go to a nice corner here. And then if I just highlight this one, I can place through it. So it looks a bit crap there, but then I should be able to just snap this onto that one. And then I can delete this one. And there you go. We have a nice, well-organised one. It's not so hard to do. Slightly offline there, actually, that one.
Harvest the scripture. Compose it into a blood song.
Okay, I'm going to keep heading towards these geysers over here. Alright, there we go. The last two geothermals are now up and running. So that is all of them on the map. If I scroll all the way out, I think, unless I've missed one. Nope, nothing coming up unclaimed. And then you can see all of the claimed ones that we have there, which is excellent. That means we've got pretty much as much free power as we're going to be able to get from this map. And we're now up to 11.2 from the 10 we were previously, which is a really nice boost to our power, considering all we've really needed to do is supply the materials for the geothermal plants. So now that we're working our way around the map into some of the more dangerous areas with the nuclear radiation that we are coming across, we are needing filters. So I've set up this manufacturer to create some iodine-infused filters, and they are being fed through, which then allows me to place them inside the dimensional depot here. Keep me nicely stocked up, so that I don't die while I'm running around trying to place various bits. We've got a few down here already. We're already fully stocked on the gas filters, and this thing is going to be ticking away for a while now, as I've set it up with quite a few of the regular filters to give me that protection from the nuclear power. And that comes in hand with also the inevitable stage of this game now, as I start to progress towards nuclear and towards the advanced aluminium particle physics and other various parts that we've got to do, that it's going to start becoming very long-winded and a lot of very complicated, time-consuming constructions going on around the map. And this is not going to be something that will be possible to put together in short-form videos over a short period of time. So these videos are going to be slowing down now. I do apologise to anybody who's hoping that we're going to get to see this played right through to the end within a few weeks. It takes hundreds of hours to play this game, and I fully intend to finish it as well. It is one of my favourite games. I think Coffee Stain have done an incredible job with this game, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens when we get to the final stage. So I will be bringing update videos as and when I feel it's necessary to bring something new and exciting and interesting to watch. And in the meantime, I hope you've enjoyed what you've been seeing so far. There's a lot of stuff going on in this game. As I say, there's many hundreds, even thousands of hours if you really want to go for it in this game. If you haven't got it, I highly recommend you get it. And if you have got it, I appreciate that you've been here with me and watching this when you could actually be sitting and playing and enjoying yourself. I hope I have been entertaining to watch with this and I've not made too many mistakes. I know there have been a few. And I'm very much looking forward to continuing with some of the more advanced stuff as I learn it, as I progress towards the final stage of the end of the game. So thank you for joining me. I'll look forward to seeing you on those following episodes. And until then, take care. Bye-bye.